All right, let's get into the weekly watch report where we talk about the things we watched this week. Weekly watch report on Monday or Tuesday. Weekly watch report on Monday or Tuesday. Weekly watch report on Monday or Tuesday. I lost the beat of the song. Weekly watch report.
Yeah.
Okay. Traitors.
Yeah. Oh my God. Love is Blind.
Yeah.
Oh shit. I forgot. We didn't even really we gotta talk. Okay, go ahead. Traitors.
Traitors finale, I give an A.
Can we talk about it? Should we hit this with a spoiler alert?
Yeah, spoiler. We're gonna talk about
spoiler.
the ending.
If you haven't finished the season, don't listen. They fucking took these kids to school, CT and Trishelle. They really did.
They showed them a master class of the challenge.
Yep.
They said, you little kiddies, you think you know your gameplay? Well, you don't know shit. We've been playing the challenge for 20 years now, and we're gonna fucking school you. Poor MJ. Like MJ got
she did.
robbed. She did. MJ got robbed. And here's the thing though, I'm not mad about it because I've watched the challenge before. And if you've watched the challenge before, you're not mad about this.
Yep.
If you're a little softy who doesn't like when at the end of the game people get screwed over, then you're not going to like this move. But as two people who have watched the challenge, you're going to go, gotta respect CT and Trishelle here. I also don't know if they totally knew what they were doing because Trishelle voted for CT. She actually wasn't even gonna vote MJ.
My jaw was on the floor. I was like, oh my God, she's gonna fuck this up. Like, how is she going to ride with CT this whole time and not and have this? I mean, she is so lucky it went to a revote. If like the way that went, and I understood what she was saying. Like CT's last minute flip at the last roundtable was like kind of confusing, but it really did feel genuine, like what he was saying. I just couldn't imagine her seeing him be like, she's like, I'm finishing with the only person I trust in here. It's her, and she was like, CT, I wrote your name down.
Yeah.
At least they got to save it and come around and they won it together, which was, I'm sure, what they hoped would happen. And it was an impressive win. Very impressive win. CT deserved it considering he won every drop of money that they won. He was the only, every activity, every challenge where they had to win the money, like, thank God they had CT or they would have had no money.
Right. I was rooting for CT the whole time, just, as from being a challenge fan. MJ got it wrong every time. MJ didn't know who the traitors were, who the faithfuls were. She had no fucking idea who was what in that game. CT carried everybody on his back like he's done before with Johnny Bananas. And that's the way it went. So, I was shocked though when it seemed like Trishelle was gonna flip with CT, but happy that she came to her senses and was like, all right, if he's gonna vote, like, we got to be on the same page here, because they had to vote somebody else at that point because they both put the chips in saying that they believe there was more traitors, so they had no other choice. But it was a great finale, great season. Really looking forward to the next season and who they get for the next season because I thought this was an all-star cast.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the reunion. I'm giving Traitors an A.
I think that they'll only get a better cast too because the second season was such a success. Like the first season was successful, but I just feel like the second season everyone was raving about. And I feel like everybody's going to want to go on this show. So it's going to be exciting to see. During the reunion, Andy did bring up the Pete and Ekin-Su rumors. They said they're just friends. That kind of made me laugh. And Andy also asked Larsa about her and Marcus, and they were both like, oh, we just, had a little blip.
Classic. We knew that's what happened. A little Valentine's Day blip.
A little blip. Everything's all good now. But no, what a great season of Traitors. That was so good.
Really, really good. I'm giving it an A overall.
Yeah.
Quickly, I'll just mention this. I've been rewatching One Tree Hill. One Tree Hill is a classic, gets an A.
From the beginning?
No, I started at season 5 because I had watched the beginning so many times that I was like, let me just pick up from when they go to college or after college. And it is the storylines that, this was the around the time of the writer strike, and then they picked it back up, and it's obvious the storylines are something else.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think like a lot of people do a 1 to 4 rewatch, like seasons 1 to 4, because they like the early years. But yeah, because it gets a little
it gets crazy, but that's why I like to go back. So I'm like, this shit really did get really crazy.
Yeah, it did. It did. I mean, once Peyton and Lucas go after 6, it
gets fun. But I was actually a really big fan of Clay and Quinn.
Yeah.
I was so excited for that. And then Love is Blind.
Finale.
Unfortunately with Love is Blind, this is what happens every season. Starts off real hot. You're really into it because the pods are so interesting. Then you're really into when they get out of the pods and finally meet each other. And then when it gets to the wedding episodes, you're like, this is boring. Fast forward. Who said yes? Who said no? Da 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 da. Let's cut to the chase. So overall, I thought it was I'm gonna give it a minus this season. For the wedding episodes, like I said, it's just the same old. You at this point expect who to break up and who is going to get married. Jimmy and Chelsea, they broke up right at the start, but now they've been seen out a ton. So people speculate that they may be back together.
Hey man, there's some videos of those two getting pretty close out in Florida this past weekend. They went out to lunch. That got captured. They posted on their Instagram stories. And then now there's all these TikToks of them at some bar or club or whatever. And they're touching, they're hanging out together. So I don't know. It's like it's always what happens after. It's like something's going on with those two. Brittany posted a TikTok with what was his name? Kenneth?
Yeah.
And that has people being like, what the hell is this? So I don't know. There's a lot. Like there's also been people have been like, I think someone saw maybe a video of AD and Clay hanging out or something along those lines. I don't know. There's a lot of questions to be answered during the finale, as always, because like you said, the last episode has really gotten to the point where it's so long. And when there's only 2 weddings, it's like fast forward. Like you just want to get to the altar. I saw someone from the first season, I forget who, it was like, damn, these couples really don't have to go all the way to the altar, huh? It seemed like maybe they've relaxed on that. The production like really made all the couples go to the altar and then have their decision. Because, now it's like 2 or 3 max, it feels like, actually make it to the altar. So I don't know. I hope AD does not, I don't know. I go back and forth, but I kind of hope AD doesn't take Clay back. Not that he was necessary. I'm never going to fault anyone for saying no on this show. It is a ridiculous premise. Granted, you signed up for it. You're on it. You know what the show is.
That's what the tricky part about.
I just like for you to be like, I'm not ready to get married after a month, 3 weeks, whatever it is, like fair. But it was like the build up to that really I was unhappy. Like Clay, I felt like really made AD feel like he was going to say yes. It just really felt like they were having conversations like he was going to say yes. And just like a lot with his family and really talking about his past with his dad and having his dad on the show. And then his mom was saying that like, this is the first time she was hearing a lot of these things and they're on TV. It was just all, it was a lot. And I'm sure it was a lot for them to handle. And he said no. And I was surprised. I will say, I'm not going to lie. I really did think he was going to say yes. But, and then Johnny and Amy, like, that was just the most, I was like, that was from episode 3. I was like, these two are getting married. So
yeah, that one was the most obvious. I feel like everything kind of played out the way we thought it would, of course, besides like you said, Clay kind of did make it seem like to AD that he was going to say yes. But of course the cheating, it took over him. He couldn't say yes because he really fears that he just not gonna be able to, hold himself back. But I give this season of Love is Blind an A-. And once again, I'm excited for the reunion. And that's everything I watched.
I'm so excited for the reunion. I'll give Love is Blind I'll give the finale a B plus. Um, I will give Traders an A. And what else did I watch? A lot of Bravo this week. Was just catching up on a lot of Bravo. So Miami reunion part 3, which is the last one. I know I sound like a broken record when I talk about these ladies, but they just crack me up so much. And Adriana whipping out her like Bible and reading a Bible passage at one point was absolutely hilarious. They just, even when like Andy was trying to say the goodbyes, like, we're wrapping it up, farewell, like let's bring out the tequila. They're throwing accusations at each other. The end scene of Julia and her opera partners coming out and singing. They're saying Ave Maria, and then Ave Maria turns into like this, it's like an Ave Maria club remix. I'm like, I need to get my hands on this remix. It's incredible. It's just like, it's like Ave Maria. It was hysterical. I give Miami that a B plus. Beverly Hills Part 2. Nah, I'm just waiting for Part 3. They always drag it out to Part 3, so that I'll give like a C plus. And Summer House, I will give a B plus.
Oh, I watched Summer House too. I'll give that a B plus
yeah.
as well.
Yeah, I'm really liking this season of Summer House. I'm not gonna lie.
Me too.
Obviously, there is a lot of the Carl and Lindsay drama that's going on, and we're seeing how these two are interacting. But the new additions are great. Like having like the Sierra and Wes dating little storyline going on. Love that. So I'm very into Summer House right now. I'm loving that. And I did watch Poor Things. I know I've talked about it multiple times already, but I did technically watch it in this past week window. I'll give Poor Things a B plus. It is a great movie. From the artistic standpoint of movies, very well made. She is fantastic. I think Mark Ruffalo is fantastic. William Dafoe, fantastic. Like she's so good. But it's weird. It's a little funky. It's a little different. It's just like the way that Yorgos Lanthimos makes his movies. So I'm sure it's not for everybody. Like some people like really, really fucking love it. They were like, that movie was amazing. It took me, the first 30 minutes I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was really, really good. And like I said, Emma's performance is fantastic. So I think that's pretty much. Oh, I did watch. Sorry, I'm dragging on now, but this is the last thing. I started the new season of Full Swing on Netflix. I really enjoyed Full Swing. I do love like watching the golf world. I think the whole PGA Tour live golf thing, it's all very interesting. And seeing the behind the scenes of all that is very interesting and how that went down. So I've watched the first 3 episodes of that. I'll give that a B plus. I really like Full Swing. I think it's very entertaining. So, okay, that is everything I watched.
All right. I watched Love is Blind season finale as well. Yeah, I was bored.
Yeah, the
Classic.
finales, unfortunately, the episode, they just go on. Like the finale could be 30 minutes long. It just doesn't need to be, just get to the chase,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
And
cut the chase. Get to the
nothing
point.
really surprised me. It's like, oh, Clay, like that's not really that surprising. It is funny just to watch like Jimmy and Chelsea. Like Jimmy's just what a guy. But yeah, I'll
Well,
give
it's just
that.
insane to hear that conversation and then like see them out still
Right.
together.
It just doesn't
Yeah.
make
What?
sense.
Yeah, we just need the reunion. We need like to fill in the missing pieces.
Yeah, I'll give that a B minus, but I was really not that locked in. I watched the last 2 episodes that came out of the Patriots Dynasty on Apple TV. Same thing as I said last week for these 2 episodes, where it's like kind of continuing on of like, well, there was some good in this because I think they showed the Seahawks win, but there was a lot of like the Deflategate now, like there's a lot of like
Yeah.
bad stuff that we're rehashing, but it's still like
Right.
done so well. Like I was talking to my brother. I'm like, no, I feel like no one is talking about this. Like when The Last Dance came out for Michael Jordan, it was like everyone was talking about it. Maybe it was because it was in COVID.
Mhm.
Everyone was like, oh, this is the greatest documentary ever. Like blah blah. This is better. Like I think this is better. Like the way the production
I don't
value.
know.
Like
I just think it's like
I mean, yeah, like I have bias.
not like too soon, but there's a lot of bias where there's more just like people really don't like I don't care to watch anything about the Patriots dynasty. I'll watch a documentary about
But
Michael Jordan, but
But
I
it's also like
like
it's not like the Patriots made this like about themselves and it's all just like we're so great. Like the last four episodes have been like a lot
yeah,
of like
I don't know
bad
what
stuff.
I don't know what to tell you. I think people just hate the Patriots. Like that's that at the end of
Yeah,
the day, like they're
that's the
like,
thing.
oh,
That's
Patriots,
why.
I don't want to watch that.
Well, I highly recommend it. Just production value alone is incredible. They did use, which I didn't know. I didn't realize that this was like a new drop Taylor Swift song, but I saw Gia and Kelly talking about it. That her "Look What You Made Me Do" version, they used it in one of these episodes for the Patriots, and that was like the release of it. Like that's how she dropped this new song, which I thought is
Oh,
funny that
because
she like
it's Reputation,
yeah,
Taylor's
Reputation, like
version.
that was like the
Yeah, yeah.
first
Mm.
drop of it, which is just funny that that's what she chose to use it in. But it definitely worked. I did because I think someone teed it up. They're like look what you made us do, and then like the song started playing. And I'm like, are they? They're playing a Taylor Swift song. It was funny, but it was good. Um, I watched. Yeah, I'll give that an A minus. The last two. I watched American Fiction. I finally watched that. Great movie. Great movie. Definitely as when I watched the trailer, I'm like, oh, this is funnier than I thought it would be. Um, but yeah, it was a solid movie. I'll give it.
Was the movie funny?
It was funny. It was like it was. I think
Yeah.
it was funny, but like a lot of the plot and like whole point of the movie was like kind of making fun of more serious things, but they did it
Mm.
in a funny way. I'll give it a B plus. Like I enjoyed it. Yeah. And then I watched Curb Enthusiasm last night, the newest episode. Um,
Oh, I didn't watch it.
did you watch that,
I
Rhea?
also watched, and
It
I
was
loved it. It was my
so
favorite
fucking funny.
episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was my favorite
Oh,
one
was
so
oh
far.
no,
really
I'm so
funny.
excited to watch it now.
Wait,
Yes.
Like-
I don't want to spoil it, but like
Yeah,
I
don't.
I'm sorry to cut you off, Noah. I just want to say huge props to Lori Loughlin.
yes, yes. Like,
Oh, I saw a headline about this. Okay.
yeah.
Just
But
like
yes, I when she first when like because they said her name before she like a I'm
Don't
not
spoil too
spoiling
much.
anything. I'm saying they said her name before like I saw her. So and at this point I didn't know like she was gonna be in it. But when they said her name, I was like, is she like is she gonna play herself in the show? Like and then she did and it was very funny. But there was like a lot of I love Susie. Like she might be my favorite
oh
character
yeah,
of
Susie's
all
the
Susie's
time,
best.
like of like ever in TV. Like she is just so funny. Um, but yeah, I'll give that an A, honestly. Like that was just I was laughing like so much, and yeah, that was definitely my favorite of this season so far. Um, but yeah, that's all I
No,
watched.
that just reminded me. Did you watch any more of Shogun?
No, well, I started it, but I haven't like I didn't. I feels like I didn't watch enough of. I didn't finish the episode, so I'm like I'm not gonna put it on here.
I forgot. Joe and I watched the first episode of that also.
Oh, really?
Really,
It really
really
is,
good.
but it's one of those
I
shows where
thought
like
that first episode was so good.
it is.
Like I
But-
give that like I give that first episode an A minus. Like I was
Yeah.
locked in.
I think that's what I
It's just
give it.
like a yeah, it's just like a very fascinating, different like
Yeah. It is
like
one of those
first show
shows
that
where you have
I
to
haven't
be like
seen in
really
a
locked
long
in.
time.
Obviously, just because like a lot of it isn't in English. So like, and like if I'm checking my
Oh, yeah.
phone, like and I look up after 5 minutes, I'm like lost. So that's why I can't really rate
Yeah,
it
no,
because
yeah,
this
yeah.
last episode I have to restart it because I didn't. I also want to.
No, it's a no phone show for sure.
Yeah, I also started the new show on Netflix, The Gentleman, but I didn't really finish. I'm only like halfway through the first episode, but I love that movie and I love all Guy Ritchie stuff. So
I know. I do
but it's
too.
good.
I'm
It's-
excited to watch that.
Yeah,
I
that's
love that
good.
movie. That's a great movie.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I watch.
Great.
All right, that's everything we watched this week.